Hi guys, welcome to Begoodnation. Today I'm going to be taking you on a simple step on how to install a WordPress. For all those new beginners, people that just want to venture into blogging, it will be very hard for you to be able to set up your WordPress blog by yourself. Most of the new beginners have to go and get developers to start doing it, but no, you don't have to spend money on hiring developers. Today I'm going to take you on the simple steps on how to set up a WordPress blog, how to install the WordPress, how to set up a theme, the simple modifications you need to know for setting up a WordPress blog. Before I start, please kindly click on the subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so you get my videos whenever I upload them. What is WordPress? WordPress is a content management system. What does it actually mean? It means it makes it easier for you to upload contents, be it video, be it music, be it text, be it whatever it is you want to put in your site. It makes it easier for you to do that. It makes it easier for you to manage. You can delete, you can renew, you can upload and update. You can do a whole lot of things with that. WordPress is the most used content management system in the whole wide world. And that is why you see most bloggers every single day are moving to WordPress. There are other CMSs like the Blogspot. So if you're ready, come with me. Let me take you to my computer so I can show you how you can set up your own WordPress blog by yourself. It's a very simple process. Let's go. Hello guys, welcome to my system. For you to be able to set up a WordPress blog, you have to first get two things, which is the domain name and hosting. What is a domain name? A domain name is basically like the location of your site on the internet. Let me show you an example. Let me scroll down to my dashboard. Let me show you two different sites. I'm going to use a popular site, cnn.com. Let me load cnn.com. cnn.com is definitely the location of the site known as CNN. If you go to bbc.com, it's basically the same thing for BBC. So BBC has a peculiar name, CNN has a peculiar name. You can be able to call CNN different from BBC, just like two people having the same name, but their house address is different. Example, two people answering Charles A and Charles B. The difference between Charles A and Charles B is that Charles A lives in a different address A, while Charles B lives in a different address called Charles B or address B, as the case may be. Now, after understanding this, let me explain a little bit about hosting. What is hosting? Hosting is basically a place where you can store your files, where your site files can be stored, and where your sites can be called upon. Now, after having an address for Charles A and Charles B, you now have to have, for that same addresses for the two of them, you have to have a house in those addresses where those two Charleses can sleep. I'm trying to bring it down to a simple understanding so you get to understand. So Charles A is in location A, while Charles B is in location B. In location A, Charles A has a two-story building. In location B, Charles B has a simple three-bedroom flat. So you can be able to tell apart which one is which when you're trying to identify the Charleses in the situation. So understanding that domain is basically the address of your website, and hosting is basically the infrastructure you have in that address. It is very easy. There are so many ways to get domains and hosting. I use so many sites for buying of domain and hosting, like Google Domains, which is very cheap, affordable for people that can be able to afford it. We have Google Domains, domains.google. You can buy your domains from here. It is reliable and straight to the point. Okay, I think they charge in USD and some other denominations, I believe so. So you just create an account, sign in, and get your own hosting. Alternatively, you have other sites like namecheap.com. You have namecheap.com, and Namecheap is okay. Pardon my network. Okay, so namecheap.com, you can also buy domain. Let's example, you want to buy I am a good boy now.com. Okay, and you search for that particular domain name. what's going to happen is going to check in the registry if anybody else has gotten that particular domain name. If nobody has gotten that domain name, it's going to just simply tell you it is available. Look at it now. It is still good because that domain name is available. That is for Namecheap, and it's virtually the same concept for every single hosting provider and every single domain name provider. It's basically the same thing. Good, it is available, or they will tell you domain is not available. Okay, now when you get a domain, I will personally recommend a particular site for Nigerians. So for Nigerians that are in Nigeria that cannot be able to pay this amount in dollar based on the policies in the country currently, you just simply have to use this site I always use. I use this site pretty much all the time because it is very cheap and affordable. Very, very affordable. So let me take you down. It's called TrueHost.com.ng. TrueHost is basically a site where you can buy domain names, but the difference is that you can buy it in Naira. So you don't need to bother yourself about getting a US dollar card that you can be able to use to buy the domain name. Now you just scroll down and get into TrueHost. You just search for your domain name here. I am a good boy now.com. Search. So it's searching the registry to see if it is registered. If it has been registered, it will not be able to give you that particular domain name. So now TrueHost is basically telling you that yes, this domain is available. Let's go down there. All right, it is showing green. That means the domain is available. If it was not available, it will not show you this. It's showing you that I am a good boy now.com is available and the price is 8,000 Naira. So for those that want to get the domain, you can just simply add to cart. When you add it to cart, it's going to show you the checkout button. All you have to do is just click on the checkout button and it's going to take you to a form where you have to probably fill in your details. Okay, it's going to take you down here. You just click on DNS management and you click on continue. Okay, you click on continue. So it's going to take you on the checkout. The checkout is basically very simple. Okay, after you've added this to cart, it has added to cart. You can just simply see your total domain cost here, which is 8,000 Naira. So now that you have your total domain cost, it's very simple and straight to the point. Okay, so you just check out. It will take you to another page. After clicking on checkout, it will take you to another page. That page is where you probably fill in your details. You fill in your details like I already did. You fill in your details, fill in your information as required, and you are good to go. So after filling the details, you create a new order, then click I have done this and complete order. Okay, I have done this and complete order. The complete order is going to take you to a page that looks like this. It's going to take you to a page that looks like this. It's going to take you to an invoice page where you get to pay for the money now. You get to pay for the money now. So looking at the Flutter Wave open is very easy. Okay, it's simple. Look at the amount you are supposed to pay. You just put in you use your card number. You just select your card number, or put in the month and the year, put in your CVV, which is that 3 numbers at the back of your card. Then you click on remember this card next time and pay. That is if you want the card to be saved, so you don't type it anytime you want to buy something. That's fine. If you want to use Google Pay, you just click on Google Pay. The same thing for USSD. If you want to use your bank's USSD, your bank short code for USSD, you can use that. If you want to use bank short code for transfer, if you want to use bank transfer, it's very easy. You can just go ahead and make payments. This process is also very similar to that of buying your hosting. For you to buy your hosting using TrueHost.com, you just simply go back to TrueHost.com, host.com.ng, then you click enter. When you click your TrueHost.com.ng and you click enter, it's very, very simple from there. What you're just going to see is, sorry for my network, okay? So what you're just going to see is basically the site will open as normal. But instead of buying a domain, as we did here, instead of buying a domain, you just come down to web hosting and select from one of these web hosting. If I select this, and it's just going to take me, if I've already paid for that domain, I'll just type in the domain name. If I have an already registered domain on a different domain registrar, maybe I have an already registered domain on Google Domains or already registered domain on Namecheap, and I want to use that with TrueHost hosting, I will just click on I will use my existing domains and update name servers. If I have a domain I want to transfer to TrueHost, I will transfer my domain from registrar. But if I don't have any domain at all, and I do not follow the formal process of buying domain, I can just type in the name of the domain I want to buy, check for the name of the domain, proceed, and check out. Check out is basically the same thing like the last one I showed you, which is basically including your paying with your card or bank transfer or USSD and so on and so forth. So that is basically it. So now I'm going to take you down into my dashboard as a user that already has already paid domains and hosting. Okay, as a user that already has paid domain and hosting, it's going to be very easy. Let me just go and show you that I have some domain names already registered on TrueHost. That is, I have paid and I have created an account and the domain names are already registered. Alright, so see those two things are added to cart, has been added to my invoices just in case. Okay, if you have any complaints, you can use the live chats section to contact them. This is the total price for the unpaid invoices I supposed to pay, and that's good and go. So what we have now is on this particular account, I have these domains. One of the benefits of this is that they actually will come with what we call add-on domains. Add-on domains is where you can be able to add more than one domains to just one hosting account, so that you don't have to be paying for hosting every single time. So for this particular package I am on in TrueHost, it's called a silver package. So this package is just meant to be just 2 domains extra, different from the parent domain. So the domain that is going to show here is the very first domain connected to the hosting, and it is called the primary domain name. So what we are going to do now is, now that we now have a domain and a hosting paid for, I can just click on the first domain and it's going to take me straight to dashboard inside the account. So this dashboard is from here I can be able to access my cPanel. This cPanel is extremely important, very, very important, because it is like, cPanel stands for control panel. It is basically like what you use to control your entire site. So it is very important that you have your cPanel. All right, now I have cPanel. I'm just simply going to click on cPanel. Okay, now for the basis of this tutorial, I'm just going to make something clear. Now for the basis of this tutorial, I'm just going to make something very clear to you. Okay, I am not going to use my parent domain to set up a new WordPress site, because I already have WordPress installed in these domain names. Okay, I already have WordPress installed in these domain names. So you are in bonus. I am going to show you how I can create what is called a subdomain. That means a domain that is registered under this parent domain, and I'm going to use that domain to install my WordPress. Are you with me? Let's go. Now I'll go back to my cPanel. I'm right here in my cPanel. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to scroll down to the section where I see subdomains. So just scroll down. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to scroll down to the section where I'm going to see subdomains. Okay, some people that are fast can be able to just do Control F and look for subdomain, and it's going to appear. So you can just open this in a new tab. Okay, so you can maintain your cPanel tab. Okay, all right, open it in a new tab. Open it in the new tab. For this particular situation, I'm going to go with installing WordPress. So installing WordPress is going to just basically be installing wordpress.boss.com.ng. Okay, installing wordpress.boss.com.ng. So I'm just going to click on create. You can see here it has gone to installing wordpress.boss.com.ng. Okay, you wait for a few seconds, sometimes up to a minute, depending on the hosting you are using. You go through it and you see okay, it has successfully installed. So you go back. Okay, what you've done basically is, if you scroll down to the page, the end of the page, you're going to see installing wordpress.boss.com.ng. So what you've basically done is you've basically installed a subdomain. You've basically set up a subdomain. I told you in my case, boss.com.ng itself as the parent domain has already been used for a different WordPress site, which I don't want to tamper with. So I had to create installing WordPress.boss.com.ng to be able to install my WordPress. So now I can close this chapter. The next thing I can do is I can now scroll down to the bottom of the cPanel. I can now scroll down to the bottom of the cPanel. When I get down to the bottom, I will see Softaculous app installer. This Softaculous app installer is a very, very important app installer. This installer just basically helps you install WordPress instead of manually doing it. Okay, so I'll just open this as usual in a new tab. Okay, it is going to take me into the Softaculous app itself. You can see. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to come here and I'll click on install. Okay, this interface will show. I can now select. Getting down to this point, we can either select if you want https/ or https/www. I will not recommend you to use this or this. This will make your site not to be secured. It will make your site not to be secured. So I don't even know why WordPress is still leaving this, because most sites are not advisable to be on HTTP. So I don't know why WordPress is not removing this from their platform. But in the case of you installing your own WordPress, you select HTTPS or https/www. Now in this case, I'm going to select HTTPS. I'm always going to remove this WP there, because it's going to create a different directory that I don't want. It's going to make, if you go to installing WordPress.boss.com.ng, it's going to instead redirect you to installing WordPress.boss.com.ng/WP, which is not the name of your site. So anybody trying to load your site will be loading a totally different site. So I'm going to remove this from here. Then I'm going to take it down to the second section so you know exactly what is happening. Here, this is where I will type my name. So I'm going to type the name of my blog, installing WordPress. Okay, you can name it anything. Emeka's blog, welcome to Ifeanyi's blog, this one. Now, for the site description, I'm going to write, this is a tutorial. Sorry for the typo. This is a tutorial to set up a WordPress. Okay, so you can say name of sites, Ifeanyi's blog, name of site, Ifeanyi's blog, site description, your best news, information, download, music, and whatever you want. I would not recommend you to click a multi. Don't tick on this box. Tick on this one to disable WordPress cron. It's not necessary in most cases. So you go down to admin username. This is where you set up the admin username for your administrator account. So here I'm going to leave it as the default admin and as the default pass, but I'm going to have to change pass because it is, or let me leave it for you. I'm going to leave it as a default admin and default pass. Okay, now this is admin email. You can change it to your personal email. It's not an issue. You can decide to select from these plugins. I always like selecting classic editor because it's easier for me to use than the normal block Gutenberg editor. So after doing all of that, I'm just simply going to come down here. There's nothing you need to do here. Everything here is probably set to the default that will actually help you. So this is where you set database name, database table prefix, and so many other things. So you don't need to bother yourself about advanced options. For developers that want a specific thing from their site, it's not going to affect your site. So you just close here. You don't bother about that. Then you come down and you select. You just have to select a default template. So in this case, I'm just going to select this countdown or EPM. Let me select EPM theme. Then I'll click on select theme. After selecting theme, it's going to talk about, yeah, just click yes and you click on install. Within few seconds you're going to see it's loading. Okay, it's loading. Very simple and very straight to the point. Okay, so you just give it a couple of minutes for the installation to be complete. Okay, once the installation gets complete, you can see, congratulations, the software was installed successfully. Now let's open this in a new tab and see if it's going to load. Now it has loaded. Wow, we have a very beautiful blog with that theme. That template has installed properly and we have a very beautiful blog. Okay, so let's go back. Now we have to also check our admin. If you open our admin, we're going to have a simple dashboard where we can be able to manage everything that happens on that site. So it's automatically logged in because we already have our username and password set there, and it has been stored in our browser. So you don't need to bother yourself about all of that. So this is basically your dashboard. Okay, this is basically where you get to manage everything concerning your website. Okay, now in the dashboard I'm going to explain every single one of these parameters for you, so you get to understand exactly what they are used for and you can be able to find your way around them. For the first one, is just a dashboard. This is basically where you get to see notifications about the latest things that are happening. You see at a glance the number of posts you have, the number of comments, the theme that you're currently running on, your site health status, if you have a turbo site kit, and if you have a health plugin installed. Quick draft, you can quickly make a post here and save it as draft. You can just quickly look at the latest WordPress news and updates. You can quickly look at the 5 recently published posts on your site. You can see how the recent comments and virtually more. You can be able to arrange all of these things. You can be able to just move it. You can be able to arrange them and put them exactly where you want them to be in a clean and understandable manner. So that's basically it. Then updates is where you get to see all your available updates. The latest WordPress versions, you can update it from here. The plugins, the themes, you can update them from here. These are basically things that you just can do easily. Anything that needs upgrade right now will appear here. You just see a notification about the number. The notification will be a number, either 1, 2, 3. When you come, you can probably see that there are that exact number of plugins or themes that need updating. Okay, so post is basically self-explanatory. This is where you get to create posts. So for this particular blog, we have already imported a theme, and that theme we have imported basically has its own demo content. Let me show you. Let me open the site, let you see. So it basically has its own demo content. What is demo content? Demo content are basically the content that comes with a theme, so that when you are installing that theme, the theme is not just going to be looking vacant. You understand? So it's basically easy. All these pictures are part of the demo. That is part of that copyright you saw when we were doing. All these pictures are basically part of the demo. Very easy and straight to the point to install and the rest. Okay, so you can just simply look at the blog. If you go to the blog, I believe that is where you're going to see all those posts that are on your site. Okay, look at them. Trees Forever statements and Derecho Storm, 5 public sector trends in ecosystem services. Okay, let's go back to the post and see. Trees Forever statement on Derecho Storm, 5 public sector trends. So this is basically where you get to update your blog. If you're using it as a blog, you get to update it from post. In this same post, you can be able to create categories. What is categories? It's basically a simple arrangement of your site so that it can be easy to understand. Example, you want to post everything about music and music download. You can just create a category for music download. You just type in the name music. Just type in the name music. Then you type in the category. This is slug. This is like the link, what will be showing at the category. So let's just say music. Okay, then you can just scroll down to call art category. You can describe the thing. This is for, you can describe the categories. This is for music category. So this is what will appear on Google when you search for this particular link. So let us create that category. So I'm going to show you. It's going to be empty because there are no posts on them, but it's going to be created. You're going to see it in a few moments time. It's going to be created. Category added. So look at the category. Now let's open the link. Open a new tab. So look at the name I put. If I say music entertainment, it's going to show in the page as music entertainment. But look, the category link. Look at /category/music, which was what we put in this section here. Slug. So this slug, whatever you type here is what is going to show after this category. You can decide to change. Let's change and say, okay, music should not be equals to music. I will say music should be music entertainment, and music link, the link should be music downloads. After doing this, it's basically easy. Okay, you just scroll down to the top bottom and you say update. Okay, it's going to take us back to the category. Let's go back to the categories now. Then we can close these pages for now. Then open that music entertainment again. Look at it here, music entertainment. Let's view. We'll open in a new tab. Okay, Now, if you look at it, it's going to say music downloads, just like how we put it. So this is just for the title of the page. This is just for the title of the page, and this is the particular link for that particular page. Okay, so that's basically easy to do. The same thing with tags. Tags is just basically what you tag a particular post about. Let's assume you want to use name tagging. Yeah, there is a post. So tags is just basically the description for tags is just basically a description for how you categorize your phone. For people that are into music, you can say, okay, the tags will be maybe the name of the music artist, like Burna Boy, Burna Boy, Wizkid. So you can just edit all of this to fit into the tags. It's just like an explanation. It's going to have virtually the same thing, but the only difference is here is going to be tag. Okay, so it functions basically the same thing, so you get to understand that. Very simple. Let me quickly take you through the rest. So this media is basically where you see every single thing uploaded: picture, videos, every picture and video uploaded or media file that is uploaded will appear here. These are the pictures on the home page. This is where they are stored. Each of them have their own individual link. You can open this link, go to the new tab, and that image itself will open directly. Look at the link for the email. Look at the link for the image. Okay, it's basically the link of the image. This is just basically the file path, the location of the file inside your cPanel. Like I told you, hosting is the infrastructure you have. This is like room numbers in that particular building. Maybe you have a big building called a big 3-bedroom flat. Room number 1. Inside room number 1, there is a toilet, there is a bathroom, there's a kitchen, whatever. You understand? So that's basically a location. So if you go exactly into room number 1, you pass the kitchen, you enter the toilet, you enter the bathroom, then you enter the master bedroom, you will see this image. That is just basically what this is talking about. So I try to use a simple term to be able to explain this to you to understand. Please take your time to watch this video to the end, because there are so many things I'm going to explain to you. I hope you are enjoying it. Please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, all right, we're getting better. Let's close these tabs and let's get into the next one. Okay, we are going to the next category. I can close this. All right, now pages are basically static pages. Or how do I put it? Pages are basically static information that you don't get to update every day. This is about us. Basically, it's installing wordpress.com.ng is basically a tutorial platform for how to install a WordPress blog. Okay, so what we just basically do is we talk about installing wordpressblogs.com.ng. It's basically, so this is where you set up your about us page, contact us page, disclaimer page, privacy policy page, terms and conditions page. There are so many free tools online. Example, privacy policy generator. You can just use to generate a privacy policy if you don't actually have time or a lawyer to be able to create a privacy policy. The same thing with disclaimer, the same thing with cookies, the same thing with you can just Google it. Cookies generator, privacy policy generator, terms and conditions generator, and you are good to go. Okay, so now you understand pages. Okay, you can add new pages by just clicking add new. It's very easy. Okay, this is where you see all the comments, the ones you have approved, the ones that are in spam, the ones that are in trash, you've deleted, trash, spam, approved, the ones that are still pending, the ones that you yourself made. So it's basically easy. When you come down to appearance, you see the first one is themes. Themes is basically where you'll be able to decide which particular theme you want to be shown on your site. The most recent installed one will be revealed here. This is where you always see the activated one. Example, let us change the existing theme to another theme in the WordPress repository. We just come on top of it and we click on activate. What's going to happen is the current theme is going to change. Look at it, has come to the number 1, while that old theme has moved to number 2. Now let us open our blog and you see that a different design has happened in our blog. You can see that there is a totally different WordPress theme inside our blog. Okay, now we can go back and reactivate that our old one. Okay, if we reload our sites, we're just going to see that old theme back in place, in position, working functionally. Now we go to the next one, customize. This is where you get to customize your templates. You get to customize your template, rearrange some kind of things. Maybe you want to change your write-up, you want to change your footer credit for some templates. you want to do a whole lot of things, you can just easily come here and do it. I'm sorry about my delay in network, but you can just easily come here and customize your template. Depending on the template you're using, the loading time is going to be different, so you just have to have that in mind. Okay, don't be in a haste to be working on your template. It's the last thing you need to do, and you have to take your time to do it properly. Okay, for some things, when you come here, you see so many look at them. You see so many options: how to set up a sidebar, typography, global page layer, site identity, menus, widgets, homepage settings. You do a whole lot of settings. This is where so basically, this is just where you get to arrange your site, like the header of the title of your site. You just click edit. It's going to edit and enable you to start editing. So depending on the theme you are using, this particular one is how it is created. You can see you can change post title, home header, do so many things. You can see you can just tap and edit, all those kind of things. You just edit, take your time. It's going to take your time, and the more you do, the more you learn. So it's basically easy. So customize tab is just where you get to arrange your site from the header to the footer. Some tabs are limited, so you get to learn that later on in one of our videos. If you know you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly click on the red subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be able to receive our videos when we upload them. So having this in mind, we can now go back to our WordPress dashboard. So after having this widget, after having our customize, we look at the widget, which is basically the same thing. Okay, it's basically the same thing. That is arrangement of that widget. Now, these menus that are at the top: home, about us, our mission, blog, contact. This is the section that is controlling it. Let me show you the section that is controlling that section. This is for widgets. You can arrange your widgets here. This is the section controlling your menus. Okay, how you can decide your menus. You see them there. Look at it there. Contact, about, our mission. You can just see them there. I believe our mission, blog, contact, about. Then this is homepage, the link to the homepage. So this is basically where you just get to understand. This is basically where you just get to adjust. Then this is for advanced users, so you can be able to edit your theme files manually from inside the WordPress. This is for advanced users, so I wouldn't expect you to get into this place as a learner or a beginner. Okay, you can do that after a while of getting used to the system. So we'll go down to the plugins tab. I'm being fast so that we can be able to round up the video in no much time. Okay, all right. So plugins. This is just basically where you install plugins that control your site. So these are the currently activated plugins. It's very easy. What are plugins? These are just extra add-ons that are added to a site to increase or to modify its functionality. So we have example the WooCommerce plugin. That plugin just basically adds a store to any website. It's very easy. Example, the disable feeds plugin. That plugin just disables the feed. Example, the page caching plugin. That plugin just caches the page. So there are so many plugins that are available in the WordPress repository you can do. All you just have to do for the plugins is click on add new. Add new will take you to the WordPress repository where you get to select the plugins or search. So you see a whole lot of plugins, or every single plugin has its explanation. So for this, I'll install this for now because classic widgets is very important to be able to access widgets in a very simple manner. Let me activate it and go back to widgets so you get to see it. Okay, I just use this intentionally to teach you about widgets. So I'll go back to appearances and I'll go back to widgets. Okay, it's going to make the widgets place. Look at it, it's very easy to access. You just arrange. So I'll recommend everybody to always include classic widgets for those that are finding it easy. These are the widgets available on the site. Okay, so you can arrange the widgets to your taste. Okay, now this menu, and okay, so back to our plugins. We've done the plugins and everything about plugin is complete. We now understand what plugin is about. Okay, so basically everything about plugin is settled. You now understand. So if you want a plugin for download button, you just click add new. When you go down to add new, you just search for download button. Okay, download button. Okay, if you search for download button, every plugin that is related to download button that you can use to create download button is going to appear. I just use that as an example. Okay, so it's basically easy. This is one I recommend for download button for those that want to go into music plugin. This is what I recommend for download button. Okay, now after doing this, we can now simply go down to users. This is where you get to select the users and give them status. You can create users and make them administrator. You can create users and make them editors. And each user you create and each status you give to the person is going to look at where you select the status: subscriber, contributor, author, editor, administrator. So each of these ones have their own specific access. A subscriber cannot do what an administrator can do. An author cannot do what an administrator can do. An editor cannot do what an administrator can do. So the ranking goes from this is the lowest down to the highest ranking. So the subscriber will be limited to what he can do. A contributor will be limited to what he can do. The same thing with author and editor. An administrator have access to everything about the site. So you should be careful about who you make an administrator. So this is just basically how you can be able to add a user. You can just come here, click on add. After going into all users, say add new. You just type the person's username you want the person to use, the person's email, the person's first name, last name, the name of the website or your own website. Generate a password, copy the password. Make sure you copy the password you generated. Copy the password so you can send it to the person. Okay. Then select the status for the person. Leave this tick so that the person will receive the email. Select the status: subscriber, contributor, author, editor, administrator. Click on add user. The person will receive an email inviting them to come and contribute on your site, so they can come on the site. Depending on the status you give to them, they can start making and posting on your site. So tools is basically where you find all the available tools, like import. If you want to import your site from Blogspot into WordPress, in another video I'm going to teach you how to import your site from Blogspot into WordPress. If you want to export this particular blog from this particular position into another hosting or another blog, example, you want to transfer it from installing WordPress into another domain name, you can just quickly export here. Then when you go into that domain name that has another WordPress, you just quickly import, and all your content and some of the medias will appear in the new blog. Very easy and straight to the point. Here is virtually easy. Site health, export personal data. These two are the most less used option in WordPress, so you don't bother about them. Okay, so this is settings. All right, this is settings. This is where you get to either modify the title of your site, the description of your site. Don't bother about addressing these two. These two are okay. They are fine. You don't need to address them. They are okay the way they are. They are always going to be okay. Okay, now admin, you can change your administrator email here. You can allow anybody to register. You give the person, anybody that is registering, a status. You select the language you want to use, whether English, whatever language. You select your time zone, and I think there are other settings down. You select the date format you want to use, whether this number date, or the name, or whatever. Then you select time format. Okay, then you select when you want your week to start from, either Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So the WordPress can be counting individually for you. We have the next settings, which is writing. This is where you get to decide how your writing should be. Okay, your default categories, you can select any of your categories to be your default. So when you just create a new post, even if you don't set any category for that post, it's so going to automatically come as music entertainment. All WordPress sites always come with uncategorized, and I don't think you can delete it except a webmaster goes into the cPanel and is able to delete it completely. But I'll always recommend, instead of going through that stress of hiring a webmaster, you can just simply rename it into one of the most needed categories in your WordPress. Okay, so all posts that are not categorized on your site will fall under uncategorized. Okay, these are just basic settings: standard, charts, classic editor, block editor, allow users to switch editors, the email server. You don't need to bother yourself about all of this. All of these are not that necessary. Okay, you can just leave them as they are. Okay, so we'll go to reading. Here in reading, we get to decide how many number of posts we put in our home page. We get to decide, okay, if we want only our latest post to be in the home page. Currently now on the site, this is what we have. Okay, like a web design site without any blog post or whatever. But if I come back here and I set this as your latest post, and I decide that, okay, up to 10 posts, full text or excerpt, then I say save changes. Okay, if I go back to that my home page and I reload, it's going to change to contain only my posts. Only my posts. Look at the posts. Only my posts will show. But for this particular theme, it is advisable to use a static page for this theme, because it is how it was modified. You can still use the blog or whatever, but it is how it was modified. Okay, now let's just go back to the former settings. Now, if peradventure on this homepage I want up to 50 posts to show, which I will not recommend, at least 30, 25. Okay, if I want up to 50 posts, I'll just type it here. Okay, type the same here, click on save as. You are good to go. Okay, now down to discussion. Okay, for discussion is basically easy. How you modify is the settings. You can read one after the other. How you accept comments. If you want anybody to comment, what happens to when robots try to comment on your site, all those kind of things, you can set them up here. Okay, here you can set up your avatar for each comment. Either you use a mystery person, or you use Gravital logo, or you use Identicon. So anybody that comments will have this particular logo, except the person is registered on your site and the person has uploaded his picture. So that's basically all there is for that. Then for media, you just basically decide, okay, you don't need to even bother about this side because this side is just default. It comes, so you can just leave all the settings like this. They come along with what is required for your WordPress, just except in situations where you just have to modify it. But it will take you to understand what is the cause of your image problem before you can adjust these values. So I would recommend you leave these values the same way they are. So permalinks is where you get to decide how you want your site link to be. Look at this one. Any post you make can be having random numbers from 1 to 1 million or 1 billion, as the case may be. So if you make a post, it's going to be HTTP, whatever. No matter what the title of the post is, it's just going to give you this extension as the name of the post. So you just see question P equals to, maybe the post is a 255 post you've made. So here we'll just turn to 255 for that particular post. This is day and time. This is the default that comes with WordPress. You can see after the domain name, you can see the year, the day, the year, the month, and the day. Then you can see / the title of the post. Okay, now this is month and name, just months, year, month, and name. This is numeric / archives, one whatever number, just almost the same like this, just that this one has P, this one is the short form P, this one is the longer one. Okay, the same with this one just domain name / the post name. Okay, now I would always recommend you use custom. In custom structure, you just select custom. Okay, you can now clear all of this. So for the first one, you said the way I always like doing my site. Okay, I will just say simply categories and post name. Very simple. So it's going to be installing WordPress blogs.com / if it's music, it's going to show music. If it's a video, it's going to show /video / whatever the title of the post is / post name. Then I'll go down and I'll say save changes. When I click on save changes, it will save the perma link. Then privacy is just basically the same thing. It's very basically easy. You just create and select your privacy page. Say I've created a privacy page on pages. Then I'll just say use this page. Okay, so these last two actually came with the theme. They do not have their it's not part of the default WordPress settings. So it's just basically because of the particular theme that they came with. So this is basically how you get to set up WordPress and install a theme. So let me just install a simple theme again so you get to understand. So this will probably be the last video for installing WordPress. So you just select add new. If you don't like the ones that are available here, you just select add new. There are so many templates on the WordPress repository you can use. Okay, so after selecting add new, let's example we want to select this one. We just click on install. So it's going to install after a couple of seconds, or probably at most 1 minute. It's going to install and it's going to tell you that it has installed. Then you see activate button there, you click on activate.